Guns are not fun, they're not cool, they actually really do hurt people, they really do kill people. It's not like you see in the movies, we're talking about real life here, so hopefully as we go through this you will get to understand the message I'm trying to get over to you. Okay, here you've got two guys who think it's cool to play with guns. Do you think it's cool?
No. It's all that we carry guns here for protection. So if we carry guns for protection and that's wrong, how come you lot carry guns and that's for protection? Well, after they're in the graveyard dead, yeah? What's the police going to do?
This is not a joke, because actually we want you to have a life, not die at 25 and 24. And I'm waiting for this group here who don't want to be called kids but are behaving like it. Disrespect. We're all black. We come from a black culture where you respect your elders, and I haven't seen much of it today. Shameful. The police are here to try and help you to help yourselves. You have any possibility to become who and what you want to be, but you have to stay alive to be able to do it. Do you understand me? Do you understand me?
Right, next one please. That hat is the start of a trial to someone who's been shot dead. And he was chased down a North London street. His hat fell off first of all. Then, in his panic to get away from the gunman, he lost his shoe. Can you imagine how this guy's feeling? You've got someone with a gun coming after you. Imagine how he feels. And that picture there is a reality of life of what guns do to people. And if you go down this path, you're going to end up in one of three ways. If you're lucky, you're going to get nicked by a trident. If you're not so lucky, you end up dead, because that's a reality, or you end up seriously injured.
In South London, Rod Austin investigates another shooting. A gun has been used during a petty dispute. This quiet street was the setting for an attempted execution, when an innocent man had a minor traffic accident with the wrong person.
A young lady is driving down the road. She's got no driving licence, no insurance. She was in a rush and collided with another car. And, you know, the damage to the cars are minimal. In fact, you can hardly see it. It's basically just scratches. It's got a bit, you know, you've got some paint chipped off there. And that's literally all the damage was. Basically, an argument ensued, as usual, with most road traffic accidents, as to who was to blame. Jason Charles pulls out a gun, puts it a matter of inches away from our victim's forehead, and discharged the gun.
By chance, the gun exploded. The victim was injured, but survived.
The victim's statement's quite graphic, and he tells us that it all virtually happened in slow motion in the way he sort of raised the gun to his head. He then racked the weapon and held it there for a second. And he said basically his whole life simply froze. And he said he was just, all he could think was, I'm going to die here, I'm dead. And he said time just stood still. And then he said suddenly he saw a bang, a flash, and Charles discharged the gun. A bullet hit the victim in the centre of the forehead, fragmented beneath the skin, and basically disintegrated. It just simply, well, it just simply disintegrated, and that was it. He's very, very lucky. He should be dead from that sort of distance, no doubt about it.
Rod Austin thinks the gunman is Jason Charles. The car involved in the crash belongs to his mother. He is 25 and has 6 previous convictions for drugs, robbery and carrying knives. For 6 weeks since the incident, Jason Charles seems to have been lying low. Rod Austin and his team have failed to find him, but now he has been spotted. Jason Charles has been seen entering a house which Trident are now watching. A convoy of officers are nearby, ready to move in and arrest him if and when he comes out.
Armed teams are moving up. We let the armed officers go in and do everything first. If you hold it 1 second. Yeah, fair, go on. It's a change of clothing. Right. We're moving up now, we're now heading towards the Walworth Road.
Jason Charles has left the house. Trident deal with gunmen like him all the time, yet their officers aren't armed. The suspect knows he's wanted and may be carrying a gun, so specialist armed police will stop him.
The police have got to be very, very careful with someone like him. He's the sort of person that, if he's armed, may well turn his weapon on a member of the public or a police officer.
It's done.
Right, that's done. Right. Everyone stays put. We put the dog through. We're basically, the arrests are being made now. Obviously, everyone's detained first, and we ensure that everything is done quite neat and tidily. They'll be handcuffed, put in plastic cuffs, and we will formally go up and execute the arrest. Right. I'm going to enjoy this one. Yes. Come on.
Jason Charles was with a friend. Both have now been stopped by the armed police.
Right, Jason, listen to me. It's 20 to 12, yeah? You've been arrested for attempted murder, all right? That occurred on the 3rd of March of this year. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something which you later find in court. If you do say will be given in evidence. Do you understand that? Jason, do you understand that? OK, that's a yes for now.
Jason Charles is not carrying a gun, so the arrests have been made without risk to anyone.
Another good Trident operation, yeah. So a bit of spare change.
Jason Charles was conditionally released from his last prison sentence 7 months before the shooting. He doesn't have a job, but has £430 in cash. He has a previous conviction for drugs. Police think he may be dealing. With Jason Charles safely in custody, Trident want to find his gun. They are going to search the house he was in earlier. They don't know who's inside. It's 2 a.m. They don't get a welcome reception.
No, you don't do that. That's the first thing that you don't do. The police officers, all right.
All right, there's kids in here, for fuck's sake. Well, fucking calm it down then.
Trident want quick access to every room to prevent the disposal of evidence and reduce the threat from people inside.
Look, it's Ed Lane. My uncle's in there.
We tried asking you, I'm afraid.
I told you.
We tried asking you.
Heard me. I said it's my uncle.
Right. Should we have a chat? Right, come here.
She's all right.
She's all right. Right, Jason's obviously been arrested.
Has he?
Yeah. Jason's been arrested, and we've come to search this address.
Officers go into an upstairs bedroom. A teenage boy grabs a knife from the side of his bed.
A big old knife next to his bed. Do you want this thing in the house with these young kids around? Right, good, we'll take that then.
It's always a problem when you go into these homes to search them, when you
Get out of it.
Charming. It's always a problem when you go and you never know what weapon you're going to find. You find knives, samurai swords. You can find anything in people's houses. All you can do is, it's a 15-year-old youth with a knife. All you can do is turn and put it down, which is obviously what he did, and that's the end of the matter, really. The only disappointing thing, we haven't recovered the firearm. We've now got to obviously prove it in other ways. That's it. Until tomorrow morning. I'll wander off into the distance. Right.
The day after his arrest, Jason Charles takes part in an ID parade. The man he shot picks him out. That's enough to charge him.
Right, the first charge is for attempted murder. Second charge against you, that is being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm.